A welcoming and supportive room. I come to you as a compassionate human interested in the future of our planet. We are lucky to live in a free and democratic society, though there are perhaps significant limits to both our freedom and our democratic involvement as individuals. Who has time? Our world is one that is fast-paced, driven by the latest information and other technology. We have never had so many devices that make our lives easier. I have friends who teach at all levels, from kindergarten to post-secondary. All comment on how in their lectures and classrooms they are competing with their students' phones. Despite being informed at the beginning of the school year that phones are not permitted during class time, students use them all the time. I have heard of parents calling their children during class time. On Friday night, I attended the year-end dinner for the Confederation College classes of Natural Resource Technology and Environmental Technology. These are students who are graduating this year. It was a great evening organized by the students that celebrated their teachers and themselves upon the culmination of a challenging two-year program. Students from each class awarded 3 joke awards, one of which was for the social butterfly, awarded to a person notorious for always being on their phone. The person presenting the award indicated that she even took a call once while making a presentation in class. She wasn't there to receive her reward because she had forgotten her phone and had to go home to get it. What is it about these flashy devices that occupies so much of our time for many of us? This technology is a microcomputer, more powerful than anything available even 10 years ago. The capacity to exchange live and recorded, moving and still images has never been so accessible. Although if you consider $300 in a 2-year contract accessible, then I guess that's accessible. Still, these kinds of devices were science fiction when I was a kid. When I was 10, Battlestar Galactica was a show that was on TV. When I say Cylon or Battlestar Galactica, you might think of a picture that looks something like this. It's a little hard to see, but it's a metal guy, a metal being with a red eye that goes back and forth, and they were notorious for saying things like, "by your command," in a very non-human sort of voice. The first Battlestar Galactica was about the last band of humans searching through space for a home called Earth, while being chased by Cylons who wanted to destroy them. It was largely an attempt by a major American network to capitalize on the popularity of Star Wars, and a Mormon producer who had been looking for a way to tell his story, Adam's Ark. This is not what I'm going to be talking about. Cylons were portrayed as shiny and ruthless machines, technology created by humans that had decided, based on unfeeling logic and mathematics, that humans were inefficient and must be eliminated. So, moving forward more recently, let's get rid of this guy. In 2003, Ronald D. Moore reimagined the series. Battlestar Galactica, or BSG as the aficionados refer to it, was fast-paced and filled with drama and excitement. But it also incorporated social commentary at a time when such a thing was sorely needed. This picture is, oh, not that one, go back to the other one. So you can see there's something religious perhaps going on here. This is a picture of the main characters in the cast that are presented in a way that evokes a certain image. The story of the Cylons, bent on the destruction of humans as a species, was retained. But the issue of humanity's relationship with technology is examined in much greater depth. The new BSG explores themes dealing with the role of religion in shaping and motivating human behavior, both for individuals and in a community or society sort of context. The show deals with many human issues of the day, including gender equality, patriotism, terrorism, war, politics, love, suffering. But this morning I'm just going to talk about one thing, and that is, how did the series Battlestar Galactica deal with the issue or the notion, the idea of God? I'm going to show a couple clips from the show. So now we can go to that. At this point in the series, the humans have escaped the initial destruction of their homeworlds by the Cylon armies. The fleet of ships filled with humans and one Battlestar to defend them is searching for water and other resources that they need to survive. In the clip you're about to see, there's a pilot named Starbuck. She's the ace pilot of the Galactic Fleet. She has crash landed upon a planet with no oxygen after the latest encounter with the enemy. She's running out of oxygen when she stumbles upon an enemy ship she shot down during the battle. So this is one of the Cylon Raiders, enemy ship. After determining that this machine has been shut down, she investigates the ship in the hopes that it might provide her a way home. Can't really see it there, but it looks like flesh or something like that.
Oh my God. So I guess the only thing flying you is you. This must be your breath. Do you have more volume?
Okay, so what she said there was she crawled up inside of this ship that looked like it was a metal thing, only to discover it was actually organic on the inside, flesh and blood, and she says, I guess the only thing flying you is you. So I'm not sure if you heard it, but she said, oh my gods, upon first discovering that the machine was in fact an organic entity, perhaps even alive. This unexpected revelation leads to many questions. Who is the creator? How can a machine be alive? In BSG, Cylons are both inorganic and organic. Some of the organic ones appear to be human. The organic models that take human form appear to have feelings and emotions, culture and religion. They are driven by their faith in the one true God and their faith that He has a plan. The humans, on the other hand, have many gods. The conflict between these two belief systems is an ongoing theme throughout the series. In an interview published on the internet at beliefnet.com, Moore talks about how he was inspired by a book he was reading, quote, about the rise of monotheism in the Western world and how it came to displace pagan religion. Indeed, this show was conceived and produced immediately following the attacks on the United States of America by Al-Qaeda, and is in many ways a commentary on the notion of religious war. To creator Ronald Moore, the fervent pursuit of humanity by the Cylons on God's ordained mission helped him, or was his way of trying to understand how an entire culture or an entire group of people can believe something so fervently that seems unfathomable? Why would they attempt to eradicate the very species that created them? If they are that close to being human, can they not see the pain and suffering they are creating through their genocide? What does any of this have to do with God? To me, the organic Cylon symbolizes the link between the creator and the created. What we create is part of us, and we are part of it. God is not some all-knowing, all-powerful father figure floating in the heavens, though this is the kind of God that many people have faith in. Not me. I have faith in people. How these humans, being chased across the vastness of space, survive against this technologically advanced and fanatical enemy actually gives me some hope. They survive by relying on the love and respect they have for one another. The future of humanity is hanging in the balance, and they must save themselves. To steal a line from Spock, the good of the many has to outweigh the good of the one, or the few. To me, this is the real power of God. It is the power that we each have to change our lives and the lives of those around us. To do this, we have to consciously decide that this is what we want to do. For most of you here, this is not a foreign concept. I come here on Sundays to be inspired by the good works of my fellow Unitarians. And there's a lot going on, as you heard in the announcements at the start. But can our larger society rise to the challenge? Climate change is real and looming. War, once thought eradicated at the end of World War II, is more prevalent and destructive than ever. We have these amazing phones, but all we seem to do with them is share funny cat videos. I struggle daily with my attraction to this device. I have downloaded and then subsequently deleted Facebook and other programs many times because I'm struggling with the thought that everything I like, everything I click on, everything I consider through my phone leads me to being tracked, and that my preferences feed into an ever-expanding marketing database. I probably spend too much time on this thing. Still, it allows me to connect with old friends and make new friends, build a social network that I can reach out to at any time. Some of my friends have taken me out of their feed because I post too many stories about Stephen Harper. I guess I'm too political. The alternative is to just treat it as a source of entertainment. But to me, that could be dangerous. These devices have artificial intelligence, or the beginnings of artificial intelligence embedded within them. Tesla is the corporation that is putting forward the notion of electric cars. The CEO of Tesla, Elon Musk, says that AI poses the, quote, biggest existential threat to humanity. Microsoft founder Bill Gates says that within a few decades, AI will be, quote, strong enough to be a real concern, end quote. Stephen Hawking has also said that at some point in the future, AI could, quote, spell the end of the human race. Steve Wozniak, who was one of the original partners in Apple Computers, recently said, and this was published, I think in 2014, quote, like people including Stephen Hawking and Elon Musk have predicted, I agree that the future is scary and very bad for people. If we build these devices to take care of everything for us, eventually they'll think faster than us, and they'll get rid of the slow humans to run companies more efficiently. Now, personally, I don't feel that it's that dire, but it certainly could go that way if we don't think carefully about the role of artificial intelligence and how it fits into our world. We can't rely on machines or technology to look after us. We must take care of one another. We are the ones with the power to help, as well as hurt, our fellow humans. We must decide how we want to live and act towards one another. There's only one planet. Together we can look after it and each other to make the world a better place for our children and grandchildren. The phones aren't going away. They're here to stay. I was at a conference, forestry conference put on by the Anishinaabe Development Fund this week, and the executive director of the National Aboriginal Forestry Association talked about how the elders sometimes get frustrated because the kids are all just walking around like this and all just looking at their phones. But he was very passionate about the need for us to embrace this technology and come to understand it better, because this is the future. This is how our children and our grandchildren are going to interact with the world around them. To me, this is an amazing tool. Collectively, somehow, we have to be careful not to let them rule us, but rather find ways to use them for our mutual and collective benefit. In Alberta, right now, Twitter and Facebook and other forms of digital interaction are contributing to what might be the first ever NDP government in what's been known as a conservative stronghold forever. At the very least, my parents might finally get to vote for a candidate that wins. This gives me hope. I firmly believe that the conversations I see happening online are contributing in a positive way. I'm going to keep posting stories about politics in the hope that through sharing these ideas, fear and greed will be replaced by vision and compassion. My hope is that the people who read them, the people I care about, will understand that this is how I'm trying to use technology to help my fellow humans. I may still post the occasional cat video. So, thanks for listening. I hope I've given you something to think about and maybe some hope. Technology is fun and powerful. It is part of the human experience. It is up to us to use this organic processor to ensure we make it work for us rather than the other way around. Thanks.